Okay, so now we're going to come to the quadratic inequality. And there is lots of methods, and I did not put the videos for you because I really do not of my MATLAB, because I rather you don't do it their way. Is in my opinion very long and complicated, and hopefully I'll show you a better way, faster way, and it's used in a lot of books, and we call that the sign chart. So first of all, why is it complicated? Why is it not as straightforward as an equation? A quadratic inequality is an inequality that can be written as ax squared plus bx plus c less than 0. Again, the less than could be greater than or less than or equal or greater than or equal. It doesn't matter. Of course, it matters in the answer. But for it to be an inequality, where a, b, and c are real number, a cannot be 0, otherwise we go back to the linear inequality. So what makes it a little bit more difficult than what we think it should be? Let us see. So the steps for solving are the following. Solve the corresponding quadratic equation. So we're going to solve the quadratic equation. Now when we know the answers, we're going to have, since it's quadratic, probably 2 answers. We're going to put these answers in the number line. Again, I'm going to show you the method, which showing is better than reading it. This one, because it's very visual. And then we're going to construct what we call a sign chart. So the first time might look very weird, not very comfortable, and then you are really, hopefully, going to get the hang of it. So let's look at the first problem. And we have x squared minus 2x minus 15 less than or equal to 0. So we are going to think about it as an equation and solve. And so by factoring, we get x and x, 5 times 3, the negative is the bigger, positive, right? Okay, so solve. So we have 2 values, x is negative 3 and x is 5. So what are we going to do with these 2 values? We're going to do a sign chart. Now the sign chart, look at how we construct it. So in the bottom here, I'm going to put a number line. And on the number line, I'm going to put these 2 values in the order. So remember, small to big. So negative 3 and 5. If you put 5, negative 3, the whole problem is wrong. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to put those factors on the left-hand side. Doesn't matter the order. So I'm going to put the first factor, the second factor. Then in the third line, I'm going to put their product. So I'm going to have, so if you want, put a line for now to see what's happening. The table is backward, upside down. We're used to having top and bottom, so this is bottom and left. The first factor, the second factor, their product. What we're going to be checking is the sign of those intervals. So first of all, just check this factor. We're going to ask ourselves the question, when is this factor equal to 0? This factor is equal to 0 when x is negative 3, because you're going to have negative 3 plus 3. So in front of it, above the 3, the negative 3, I'm going to put a 0. Okay? Now, any factor can only be either 0, a positive number, or a negative number. So that means below negative 3 it is something, and above negative 3 could be something else, positive or negative. So we're going to do what we call a testing point. Any point you feel like, either here or here. So let's say 7. 7 is to the right of negative 3. Test 7. 7 plus 3 is a positive number, right? That means to the right of this 0, and we're going to make more than 1, is a positive number. And if this is positive, then this is automatically negative, because that's the only way a factor could be, either 0, a positive, or a negative. Let's test the second factor, and then we'll explain. Second factor. When is this equal to 0? When x is 5, because 5 minus 5 is 0. So again, you go to the 5, in front of this factor above 5, we say this factor equal to 0 when x is 5. Now a testing point. Okay, I use 7. Let's use 7 again. 7 is to the right. 7 minus 5 is positive. That means there's positive to the right, negative to the left. Okay, so we tested to see when is this factor positive, when is this factor positive or negative, when is this factor positive or negative, and or 0. What we're interested in, guys, is the product of these two. But how easy it is to multiply signs. So this is something we are so used to. So let's do it. Again, the third line, this line is your answer. This line is none other than the product of this line times this line. So let's start multiplying these two lines. 0 times anything is 0. So that's the first thing we're going to put, because we know that. Again, a positive number times 0 is 0. Now, what is positive times positive? It's positive. What is positive times negative? It's negative. What is a negative times a negative? That's a positive. So that is the answer. These are the interval, okay, for our quadratic. Now, when we do this sign chart, we really forget what are we looking for. Always go back to your problem to see what are we looking for. We're looking for when is this less than or equal to 0, and that means negative. Negative or 0. So where is it negative or 0? It is between -3 and 5. So this is the interval, and the answer is going to be from -3 to 5. Okay, guys, I am gonna just discuss the fact why cannot we do it, because that's what everybody's saying. Why are you doing it this way? That's more too complicated. Okay, this is on the scratch paper. This is the wrong way to do it. 5, 3, negative, positive. So some people will say, okay, x plus 3 is less than or equal to 0, or 5 minus x minus 5 less than or equal to 0, so x is less than or equal to -3, or x is less than or equal to 5. No, that's not, let's see how and why. This is not the zero factor property. Zero factor property says if a quadratic equation equal, not less than or equal, let us take any value less than -3, -5. Let's test it. -5 plus 3, that's -2. -5 minus 5, that's -10. Now, is -2 times -10 less than or equal to 0? Absolutely not. -2 times -10 is +20. So that's why this method does not work, guys, or any other method that is this straightforward. You have to check the signs. Okay, so let's do another one that will get, first time it's like half of it you understood, half you didn't. So let's work it out again. Okay, let's try to solve the equation first to find the values. Okay, so 10, that's 5 times 2, both negative, that ends up with 7x. So we have the two values, which is x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 5. Okay, wonderful. Now let's construct the number line with the two values in the order. 2 is smaller than 5. Then on the left here you can make a line, and on the left put the two factors, x minus 2, x minus 5, then their product, which is x minus 2 times x minus 5. And now we'll do the testing. Okay, The factor is equal to 0 when x is 2, so we're going to put 0. And this factor is equal to 0 when x is 5. If you want, let's put that right there and then. Now let's do testing. Well, 0 is available. 0 is in this side to the left of 2. So let's test 0, which is to the left. If you substitute x with 0, you get -2. So to the left is a negative number, and that automatically makes the other side positive. What are test points? Guys, any points you feel like. It doesn't matter. That's always in the class used to be the question I get. How did you get the test point? Any test, any number you feel like. Just pick a number. So let's look at this one. X minus 5 is equal to 0 when x is 5. Now pick any number other than 5. Either bigger than 5 or smaller than 5. 10. How about 10? 10 is bigger than 5. And it's to the right. 10 minus 5 is 5, which is a positive number. So positive to the right, negative to the left. And now we need the third line, which is the answer, which is the product of these two. So 0 times any number is 0. 0 times any number is 0. Positive times positive is positive. Negative times negative is positive. And positives times negative is negative. Now, don't forget to go back into your problem and check what is it we're looking for. We are looking for when is this quadratic inequality, when is this greater than or equal to 0, and that means positive number or 0. See, I see positive this way and 0, so I need to take this number and go all the way. 0, I need to take this number and go all the way. So now my interval notation is from negative infinity to 2. And when we have two interval notation, we're going to put a big U and closed 5 to infinity. Okay? Hopefully it got better. I'm not sure if it is, but hopefully you're getting used to it. Okay? So we'll stop here for now. Okay, example 7. Again, let's factor. Okay, so now you know that we are trying to solve, but let's keep it greater than 3x times x. So 4 times 1, the bigger is negative, positive, check. Negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11. So either 3x plus 1 is equal to 0, 3x is equal to negative 1, or x is negative 1/3, that's a point, or x is equal to 4. So here is the first factor. Under it, the second factor, then the product of both, and then the number line, not under it, okay, to the right of it, and the two values in the order of the number line. The question is, the first factor is 0 when x is negative 1/3. Any test point? 6. 3 times 6 is a big number, plus 1 is a positive number. See how I didn't even care what that value is, because all we care about is positive or negative. So if one side is positive, the other is automatically negative. X minus 4, this factor is equal to 0 when x is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0, so above, in front, you put 0. Let's take a number below 4, like a 1. 1 minus 4 is negative 3, so left is negative. Okay, you're already seeing that most of the time the right side is positive and negative. Don't get used to that. That's only for a normal factor, x plus or minus a number, so don't take it for granted. Now the third line is the product of the two. So 0 product of this and this. 0 times anything is 0. Positive times negative times negative is positive. Positive times positive is positive. When they are different, their product is negative. Now again, what are we trying? Oh, this is just greater than. We are trying to find where these two factors multiplied, we get a positive number. No or equal, just positive. So the 0 is not included, and the 4 is not included here. So the 0 is not included, only positives. So interval notation, negative infinity to negative 1/3 and 4 to infinity. Okay, so in the next example, I am gonna let you try it on your own, because we have done enough of those, and then I'm gonna come to the next example. So in the next example, we have 3 factors multiplied gives me a greater than or equal to 0. So that's positive, right? Okay. So I am pausing because I feel like I want to say something before I do this problem. So let me go back and talk about this. The right hand side is not a 0. So be careful that the first step should be to subtract the 8 from both sides. Okay, so 16 minus 8 is 8. So please be careful with that. And then you can continue, both are negative. 4 times 2 add up to 6. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish, but I got kind of worried because I wanted you to make sure that subtract the 8. So I'll come back to this. It's already in factor form, so life is kind of simpler. Let's see. This factor is 0 when x is negative 4. This factor is equal to 0 when x is negative 2. And this factor is equal to 0, 16 divided by 2, when x is 8. So now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have all 4 lines. Let's see why. 3 of the, where's my whiteout? Okay. The 3 factors, 3x plus 6 and the 2x minus 16, and in the 4th line I'm gonna have the product of all 3 and 2x minus 16. Now below to the right is the number line, and in that number line we are going to put all these values in the order of the number line. So the smallest is negative 4, then negative 2, then 8. Just happened to be that way. We'll do the same thing. First factor is 0 when x is negative 4. Let's take any value above negative 4. How about 8? 8 plus 4 is positive. Negative to the left. This factor equal to 0 when x is negative 2. Any value like 0 is to the right, gives us 6, which is positive. So negative on the left. This last factor is equal to 0 when x is 8. Check the left hand side. When x is 0, the value of this factor is negative 16. So when x is 0, which is to the left of 8, it's negative and positive. Now the third line is the product of all these 3. So again, it's so easy to multiply signs. First of all, 0 times anything is 0, so we put our zeros. Positive times positive times positive is positive. Look at this area. Positive times positive is positive, times negative is negative. Then positive times negative is negative, times negative is positive. Negative times negative, positive. Multiply it by a negative is negative. Now remember that we, in the midst of doing all this, we forgot what we're looking for. Go back to your problem and see what is it we need. We need these products to be greater than or equal to 0, meaning positive or 0. So the 0 is included, positive or 0. That means from here to here. And again, the 0 is included from here and everything above. So in interval notation, the answer is from -4 to -2. U from 8 to infinity, open on the infinity.